Oh, that's cute.
Backbone.
Oh, I like that.
Yeah, all right. Thor for President, www.com, Thor for President, man. How about that music? That was San Pedro Slim on the guitar playing the blues and singing the
I wasn't
blues.
playing the guitar.
Hey, you're killing my story here,
I'm
man.
singing.
Okay, that's San Pedro Slim singing the
I'm a
blues.
fraud here.
Yeah, I don't know who was on guitar. I know I wasn't invited to play guitar on that one, but we'll just let that go. But like I said, San Pedro Slim here.
Campaigning at the time.
Busy
Oh,
on the campaign trail.
Yes.
Stumping.
Oh, I thought you said I was up painting a house. That's what I was probably doing. Once again, ThorForPresident.com. Check it out on the internet.
You were out there kissing hands and shaking babies.
Yeah, that's right.
Shaking babies and
syndrome.
kissing it, something like that.
Kissing babies and shaking
Kissing
hands.
babies, that's it.
Oh, well, we just got finished playing a great party, and we had a wonderful time out playing, and we had a friend of ours on bass, and Slim was playing guitar, and we said, let's go record a show and talk about politics, because that's what we do. In between breaks, we're always playing these gigs, and we start talking politics, and that's what happens. And so I decided to run for president and solve all the world's problems. And I got some like-minded fellows with me here. My friend Todd, back from the Coast Guard days in the 80s. We were in the military together, and we're on the Coast Guard cutter Lipan, 1982, floating around the Caribbean and chasing down all those crazy drug dealers back then. That was a lot of fun. It's like McHale's Navy. Hey, there's Snickers over there. It's like McHale's Navy being on a 1939 Navy fleet tug.
35.
Yeah.
35.
1935
That
Navy
thing
fleet
pulled the
tug.
Nimitz at one point.
Did it really?
Off, yeah.
Wow. I
It's
didn't
in
even
the-
know that.
It's in the log.
Wow. I didn't read the log. I was having a good time back then, goofing off and getting yelled at by our officers and having all kinds of having fun. But now we're going to solve all the world's problems, and we've got it all answered right here.
Let's
on the
get to
website.
it, because I got a bus to catch.
Yeah.
Right.
Saving on gas,
What
right?
problem will we solve next?
Well, Slim was asking me earlier about foreign policy and.
Foreign policy, like for instance, you have every Bush is trying to push for this Palestinian-Israeli agreement, and it seems to me that whenever there's progress with the Palestinian Authority or the person involved, Abbas, and then all of a sudden everything seems cool, and then Hamas dumps some
In the
rockets, and then it goes back and forth. So it seems like you're playing with a very, how do you approach that? I mean, it's almost like how are you going to deal with. I think Hamas, didn't they win some kind of election?
The question's out there right
Election.
now on the election circuit. Right now, asking Hillary directly and John McCain and Barack Obama, how would they handle? Would they deal with Hamas? Would they sit down at the table? And what's your position on that? I mean, whether it's out there, what they would do.
Well, that's a good question, because they're talking to Barack saying he would just talk to anybody with no preconditions, and I'll tell you that dissolves
McCain's
the
saying
president.
the exact opposite.
Yeah,
He
that
never
dissolves
talked
the
to
presidency. The president of the United States doesn't sit down and negotiate these deals. Honestly, what he does is he sets the agenda morally for what should be done, and I don't think that you can negotiate with people who are launching missiles at you. And
Well,
of course
no, I didn't
you
say we're not going to negotiate with anybody. The question was, go to the table and talk.
Well, that's what you do when you're president. What you do is you have your top advisors and top political advisors, or foreign affairs advisors. They hammer out all this work in advance, and you kind of watch as like a coach standing back and observe it. You don't sit there and say, "Oh yeah, who's that guy in Iran right now? The Ahmadinejad."
Mm-hmm.
You don't just go, "Oh yeah, come on, let's go hang out at the ranch and we'll cook ribs or something like that." You don't dignify him. He's a terrorist, he's a murderer. You don't dignify these type of people with just sit-down talks. You have to let the world know who these people are. That's like my opinion on the UN. We need to get rid of the UN. Just dissolve that thing and have the united democracies. People who let women vote, people who let women go to college and drive cars, and have a democracy where a president is elected, and then of course elected again after a couple of years, and then has term limits just like we do here in the presidential election. We should have a united democracy, not a united nation. Get rid of those things. Those guys are crazy. And China with all their civil rights abuses and stuff like that. But the point I wanted to get to is that I would eliminate all foreign aid, completely eliminate foreign aid and get rid of foreign aid and start with a fresh new slate of foreign aid. if you need foreign aid, it's because an oppressor is dominating you and destroying your country. Then you might need some foreign aid. And then I go, well, was it a democracy that needs foreign aid, or was it a dictatorship like this Myanmar country? Do we give those people foreign aid? They're a military dictatorship. Yeah, I don't want to give them foreign aid. I don't think that I want to take money out of my economy in my own house and give these people foreign aid. And I don't think that these two guys do either, and I'm sure you don't as Americans. And that's the kind of foreign policy I would run. Would be a very, very
Well, it's always been the policy of the United States to not stand by and let people get massacred either by their dictators.
yeah. But that's different.
So
than, yeah.
that's I don't know how you just sit back and let it happen either.
Well, I wouldn't just sit back and let a democracy that has women's rights, and in some of these Muslim countries, like just all around Israel, they have women's rights. And women join the military, they become doctors and lawyers and stuff, and to let them get destroyed by these religious countries that don't let a woman walk around without a burqa.
Mm-hmm.
And they have these arranged marriages and these honor killings and crazy stuff like that. Why would you give a country like that foreign aid? It just defies all logic, if you ask me.
I don't know, they just seem to give aid to whoever.
Well, that's for sure.
Yeah.
We give the money to.
I mean, we have enough problems here with our economy. I don't know why we're giving money out to
What is the,
anybody.
Yeah,
I'm sure that's a
exactly.
figure that can be found out. What is the actual number on the foreign aid that the United
billions, yeah.
States gives
We
out?
could use that,
Yeah.
We could use that in the,
Throw that
Government
into, throw that
solar
into the
panels.
kitty and buy a little more oil.
Yeah, government solar panels,
Yeah.
government solar panels. Heard of 48